Hello everybody, Ricky Tang here. Now you find me on something a bit different today, and that is a Vespa GTS 300. Oh, indicators. I realised after the last few reviews that I've mainly been dating larger girls. So I thought it was time to take out a small Italian lady instead. Who wouldn't? Now, the last time I rode a scooter was probably about 30 years ago. And even then it probably wasn't legally either. So yeah, I'm definitely not a scooterist. I did go through a scooter phase as a teenager, as in I wanted one, never had one. But Fraser the Gloucester, those good guys, they are a Vespa or Piaggio retailer. So I thought I'd see what this was all about. Well, I've just noticed straight off the bat, the Speedo, as you can probably see from my helmet camera, it's in kilometers per hour primarily at the top, and miles per hour that's actually in red down below, so I've got to keep that in mind. Oh, whoa, that's the first little flick I've done to see how agile it is, and damn, that's agile. Feels more agile than my bloody mountain bike. I don't think I'll take it on my usual route over the faster A roads, not a lot of point. But I live in Gloucester in the UK, and Cheltenham's not far away, about 6 miles down the dual carriageway. So I think I will do that. Get myself down to Cheltenham. I do feel a tad nervous on this bike, especially about leaning it over with these little wheels. It's just going to take a bit of getting used to. Different sensation with these wheels. Yeah, a bit of a throb going on at tickover, bit lumpy feeling, but that pretty much disappears as soon as you start moving. And it doesn't take long to pick up speed from a standstill. It's got a CVT transmission. I think that's continuously variable transmission, if I remember rightly. Oh, there's a bend, there's a bend. Oh, cool. What am I missing? Oh, side stand. Ha! Did it tell me that? The bike wouldn't start with a side stand down. Understandably, since it's an automatic twist and go, you might forget. But I can't see any telltales to say that the side stand is down. And with my crash helmet, I couldn't actually see that the side stand was down. So, bang that up. There we go. You've got to have a brake held in to start the bike, as you would imagine. Front or back, that's okay. So, first impressions. Well, they're a bit skewed by my lack of experience on scooters. The handling is very direct. Although I suspect owners of maybe older and lighter scooters might disagree. But this is one of the biggest traditional scooters around. But yeah, you put a bit of opposite lock or a little bit of pressure through the bars, and the front starts to steer immediately. But it's sitting nicely here, kind of on the zero throttle, because obviously there's no neutral. So it's just sitting here waiting for the light, and I'll give it the bearers from the lights and to see how long it takes to spin up. There you go. Look at that. That's it. I'm up to speed. Quick and easy, that is. Yeah, that's more than good enough for the mean city streets. That's faster than most cars. Electric cars might beat you off the lights, but not many normal cars will, I think, unless they're really giving it a go. This model actually comes equipped with a traction control, ASR, assisted slip reduction. I think it's on as default. You have the option of switching it off, but I don't think that's a great idea. Okay, so it gets to about 70. Gets there easy enough, gets there quite quick. There's not a lot left after 70 though. We'll try again in a minute. Wonder how many nods I'm going to get today on my Vespa. I generally nod scooterists and even moped riders. Nowadays, I used to be a bit of an asshole back when I was younger. I generally do now. I was at 50, I kind of give it a big handful of throttle. The response is not as quick. It's a little slow getting from 50 to 70, which might mean overtaking from 50-ish. Might be a little bit exciting sometimes if you're waiting for the speed to build. But I'm now sitting at indicated 70 and the bike's doing fine. Now, small wheels, relatively short wheelbase, but it doesn't feel too flighty. This particular bit of dual carriageway isn't as bad as some. Looks like I've got another scooter behind me, possibly, not sure. The headlights are a bit on the low side to be a normal motorcycle, I suspect. Oh, at least the speed lets me enjoy the scenery. Oh, X-Max. I'll have to check the prices out and see where the X-Max compares. I know there's different capacity models of the X-Max, so I think. So I'll do a bit of research on that. Ooh, I'm going to be searching out a few potholes on the ride to see how it reacts to crappy roads. That one, it didn't kick off the steering at all. It did put a fair jolt through the bike, but the steering stayed pretty much true. Oh yeah, bit of throttle, and this is good for zipping in and out of traffic, I think. When you twist the throttle back, there's a slight lag, ever so slight lag of like half a second or so, and then it starts moving. So I've got to get my head around what you can do with the seating position. My legs so far have kind of been in a motorbike type pose, where my heels are kind of just going straight down below my knees. But that's not the only position, is it? Hopefully my 360 camera, you can see I can put my feet at the front, quite close together. And kind of in the middle of the footboard, or right towards the back like a motorcycle. So that's a good flexibility there. The seat is big, but there is a ridge about halfway back for the passenger section. I kind of wish there wasn't. I have the feeling like I'd like to sit a bit further back, but then you kind of sit on the ridge. The handlebars are pretty close. My arms feel very relaxed. So it's a comfortable riding position, I think. Let's just wander around here. Now this road is pretty poor. I feel some compliance in the suspension. At the same time, it feels a little fidgety. Doesn't feel harsh or unpleasant, but actually it might be a good thing. Might indicate a pretty stiff chassis. Well, they've been doing it long enough, so it should be. So far the front wheel isn't kind of following the crappy holes in the road. Steering quite well. Wow, that back brake is strong. I gave the back brake a good pull then, and basically it locked up. ABS kicked in. That is strong. The only thing that gets my goat with the indicators is when you go left or right, there's only a single telltale light. There's no separate left or right indicator lights on the dash, which I find frustrating. So I'd just like to know for certain which way I'm flashing, so to speak. Interestingly, despite my 32-inch inside leg, I can't quite even get the balls of my feet down on with both feet. I've got my tiptoes down. Yeah, the balls of the feet aren't quite touching the ground on both feet at the same time. I think the seat height is 790mm. I think the issue is that the seat's quite wide, so your legs go out a bit before they go down. So if you're a shorter stature, one thing you might have to do is kind of sit quite forward on the seat so you can get your feet down. Right, we've got a bit of an uphill here. I'm doing about 40. Will it pull any faster? Oh yeah, still pulling. If I was 2 up, I think it might not be quite so happy. But for single rider, it's doing perfectly well. Right, so I'm at 40 on the clock. We're into a 50. Let's give it a big twist. Yeah, didn't take long. About 3 seconds to get from 40 to 50. Unless you're really trying to get out of the way of something, then the acceleration is adequate. Yeah, I like it. I'm going for it. Overtake. There we go. That was alright. No trouble at all there. I mean, you've got to plan ahead because it doesn't happen very quickly. Front brake, it might be on purpose, it's a bit soft, the old front brake. So strangely, the front brake's quite soft and the rear brake's quite strong. I'm not sure why they would be so different in their feel. And power, there might be some rationale behind it, I suppose. I mean, you've got ABS, you could get away with a stronger front brake, I think, without activating it, in my mind. Right, we're in the small town of, well, I'm not entirely sure. My scooter sounds very inoffensive. I feel perfectly stable at these slow speeds. Yeah, I mentioned the word fidgety before. Yeah, pretty accurate. It's doesn't soak up the bumps like a longer, heavier motorbike would. So a new rider kind of coming on faster roads for the first time might get a bit unnerved. by this fidgety feeling, but so far it hasn't threatened to get kind of out of shape. So if you can get your head around the sensation when it's going over bumps at speed, I think it'll handle things just fine and you can chill out a bit. On a hill, what is nice, I'm on a slight upward or downward slope, mainly upward. I can hold the bike on the back brake. I don't have to use a foot for that. I can just use my left hand, and then my right hand's free to twist the throttle when ready. On a motorbike, you're either having to hold it on the rear brake with your right foot, or hold it on the front brake, which is also your throttle hand. Holding it on the back brake with your left hand is quite nice. So we have the Vespa GTS 300 Super, looking nice in black. I do believe it also comes in red, yellow and white options. Quite shiny, isn't it? You can actually see me in the in the mud guard there. Sweet looking little scoot. The wheels are 12-inch, so they got a 120/70/12 on the front and a 130/70/12 on the back. So automatic CVT transmission, no gears to mess about with. So front brake, rear brake on the handlebars. We have a front disc. Oh, we got a front disc and a back disc. I don't know why I sound surprised. It's the 21st century. Of course, it's got a front disc and a back disc. ABS and traction control. The engine is, I think it might be 288 possibly. Could be very wrong there. In terms of carrying capacity, what we've got, I think we've got kind of like a curry hook there, pretty much. A shopping hook. You can hang a carrier bag from. We have a little box here to get into that. I think I've got to turn the ignition on and then push. Oh, there you go. Not an awful lot of space in there. But you've got your fuses and you have got a USB port there for charging your devices. That's okay. That's locked itself. To get the back seat up, ignition's got to be on, and you then hit this button. And you've got a decent amount of space in there. Now, according to Vespa, you can get 2 crash helmets in here. I'm not even going to try and get mine in there. I got a big head. I think it's a 62 shell helmet, 62 centimeters. So that's not going to go in, I don't think. Or at least if it did, then the seat probably wouldn't shut. I don't really want to try it because my helmet is connected to my voice recorder inside my bag. So yeah, that's not going to help very much here to squeeze 2 crash helmets in. They say it can be done. I think they'll have to do open face jobs for it to happen. Fuel filler, and what is quite nice is if you need to get into the gubbins of the engine, all you have to do is lift that away and you are in there. Not much you can actually do yourself, not like the old days, but yeah, at least if you need to get in there, its access is quite easy for starters anyway. Right, let's put that back on. Thank you, please go in. So you have a nice grab handle on the back for a passenger. That could be replaced, I do believe, with a rack, and you can have a top box as well for more storage. But it's handy to have that amount of storage just built into the bike. I do like having storage on a bike. Just makes it more handy, more practical. Let's shut you down. Because I'm on the main stand, I can start the bike. Yeah, back wheel's not going anywhere, don't worry. So now we've got lights. The side lights are down here on the front fairing. So there's your low beam, main beam. That's quite bright, that is. So that's about it for the walk around, I think, because there's not an awful lot to see. Let's get my kit back on and take her back home again. Would I take her out on a second date? Well, tricky one. The answer is yes and no, which doesn't really help very much. Yes, if I needed something to ride around in an urban environment, stay to one town, stick to one town, that's where I think the bike works best for me. Going from one small town to another, or going between towns or between villages, if the road's quite smooth, it'll be painless. But if I had to do commuting between towns, and I do, and every practical route is kind of a bit rough, a bit potholed, or it's got sunken drain covers, it wouldn't be very pleasant. And if I needed a bike for that journey, I don't think it would be one of these. So I may end up on another scooter at some point. Once I've had a word with the guys back at Fraser's, they might be able to put me onto something that could do intercity stuff a bit better. But in a purely urban environment, this scooter is great. It's brilliant. It's fast enough to get ahead of the traffic or keep up with traffic. I like the fact it's got built-in storage. It's easy to ride. Assuming it's going to be reliable, then it should be cheap to run as well. So I could certainly see myself, if I had the money, having a scooter in my arsenal, in my collection. So it's certainly worthwhile. It was certainly worthwhile having a ride on this for my own experience. And for those looking for a little easy to use, simple commuting bike, and maybe hadn't considered a scooter, certainly give it a go. I don't think you'll miss gears, and I don't think you'll miss a clutch. I really don't think so. And with a top box, it could be ridiculously practical with the underseat storage, front storage, and a top box as well. Imagine all the takeout deliveries you could manage. I was only joking. The price of this bike, I missed that. £5,000, I do believe, $4,999. I think that is the price. But PCP deals can be had. And I do believe this might even be available on 0% finance at the moment. Although you can't really get much better than that. Let's get to the front, shall we? Oh, it's a bit bright here with my sun visor up. So that's about it from me. Thanks for hanging out with me on this first date video, this sexy Italian, and I'll see you again in another video.